Hello. Woo! All right. Here's some sharing from our lovely team. I'm Jim from Zeus. I'm co-founder and CTO. I know today's topic, I was supposed to talk about ZeusStack. To be honest, I'm not sure why we end up in this topic because, well, I suppose a better way to open this up would be talking about what Zeus was doing and what does it mean to bring Bitcoin to Solana. So does everyone heard about Zeus before? If you heard about us, please raise your hand. Yeah. Great, thank you. So, in a nutshell, Zeus brings Bitcoin to Solana. So what we mean by that is we're not just another type of wrap Bitcoin. What we're actually doing is we put a whole simplified payment verification proof on Solana. So we basically developed a whole bunch of stack that can basically verify your Bitcoin transaction on Bitcoin blockchain, doing all the whole verification process on chain, and then we tokenize Bitcoin. Not just wrap it, but we tokenize it. What we mean by tokenize it is that tokenizing means we put more utilities and more functions to Bitcoin itself, right? So when people think about Bitcoin, we think about what? MicroStrategy, right? So what is MicroStrategy doing? Well, basically what they do is they put a DAT, so DAT as in a digital asset treasury, right? So just keep acquiring Bitcoins. And then, what happens? So that's a big question, okay? Once you have a really big giant bajillion set of a Bitcoin, then what we can do with it? So that's the problem that Zeus was trying to solve. Not just to wrap it, but tokenize it. Okay. So well, I know this is a workshop, right? You know, like developers are supposed to open up the laptop and do all that shit, you know. But today I just want to give you more general introduction of what's the problem that we're solving and why do I think we are on the track to solve the real problem. So let's take a look on the ZBTC first, right? So this is a general information about ZBTC. So does anyone know about the Soul Scan? Like anyone familiar about Solana? Yeah? Let's see a couple of hands raising. Okay, so Solana is by far the most performant blockchain in the world. So we are talking about over 50,000 TPS. Sorry, I was wrong. Sorry. So 2 weeks ago, there's a team runs a validator. They're called Temporal. So Temporal basically developed a new type of validator that push the TPS to 100K. I'm not joking, 100K. Because Solana block time is only 400 milliseconds. In this one block, 400 millisecond block, they can process over 50K transactions. So times this number by 2, you got 100K. So we're talking about the next NASDAQ on-chain. We're talking about the world decentralized computing engine was first initialized by Ethereum Foundation and Vitalik, those like OGs. But Solana is actually the one who actually push it and really put it into production. So Solana is by far the most performant blockchain. That's why we chose Solana to build on top of. Okay, so if you look at this number, you'll see, okay, now here's the price, right, this morning. So now we have over 400 something ZBTC minted natively on Solana, okay? Then if we take a look on a more, well, if our engineers and developers probably feel more interested in this page, this is ZeusScan. This basically shows the real interactions that we call the Zeus layer, sorry, it's a layer between Bitcoin and Solana, right? So Zeus layer basically needs to do two things, on-chain and off-chain. So off-chain, we need to upload the Bitcoin blocks as an oracle, right? We need to tell Solana what's actually happening on Bitcoin blockchain, all right? So you can take a look at all these transactions. Sorry. All these transactions. These are real life transactions, okay? So if you guys are ever using some solutions such as, layer 0, wormhole, no, these are like bridging solutions. Well, you can kind of think about VR as one of the bridging solutions, but we go beyond the bridge. Because bridge doesn't care about how you're gonna use the tokenized asset, right? But we care. So we're not just bridge the asset, we tokenize the asset. We put them into use, put it into utility, more functions. That's what we're doing. Okay. So let's take one of the examples. So let's say, okay, a dude this morning, 3 hours ago, deposited 3.0.1 BTCs. Let's take a look. So let's see how much is it. Okay, so he basically bridged about 1K assets through Zeus. So here is the total process. You can see it. I might have to look a little bit deeper, just to let you guys know that how difficult and how hard to make this right. I'm not joking. This is really hard, right? Well, sure, you can say that. Oh yeah, I heard about like 21 PTCs, right? I heard about wrap PTCs. So what? Like wrap PTCs is easy. Well, it's easy if you're a centralized entity, right? You have a private key, well, maybe not private key. You have a multi-sig. You have MPC solutions that's sitting in the server in your home. That's easy. But we're talking about decentralized. We're talking about how we're going to make this whole process not just autonomous, permissionless, but also decentralized. So there are basically 4 steps. So if we take a look at one of these. Okay, so this is a real Bitcoin transaction, right here. So mempool, which is I think it's by far the very good design. Like it's open source, the block score, super good. Like as a developer, I really think they do a really great job. Yeah. So this is a real transaction. Okay. So basically, what you see is okay. So this dude this morning spent 2 UTXOs and deposited into 1 address. So where does that lead us to? Basically, this address is not just a random address. It's an address that's generated on-chain. Because in Zeus, we develop a whole stack. We basically rebuild the whole Taproot cryptography in the Solana program. So this address is actually generated on-chain, right? So everybody can see, okay, so this address is generated not by Zeus off-chain, but on-chain to make it permissionless. Right? Anybody can just go on the program and generate your own address. So this dude just deposits into this address, and then here's a 0.01 PTCs. So let's take a look at this address. So obviously this address is only 1 because why? We this is one of the core attributes of Taproot, right? Does anyone know about Taproot? I see one guy over there, which is the author of the program. Sorry, you can answer this question. All right, so basic Taproot is a Merkle tree. It's basically nothing but a Merkle tree. But the leaf of the Merkle tree, okay, are the Bitcoin scripts. Bitcoin scripts such as P2SH, P2PKH. If you're on a Bitcoin Max, you probably know what I'm talking about. Basically, those are the OP code, the really tiny piece of Bitcoin scripts that tells the Bitcoin what to do, the Bitcoin blockchain what to do. So you can do things such as, if someone attaches a signature, it's called P2SH, pay to public key hash. P2PKH, P2 paper public hash. Then you can transfer this money to some addresses, such a things, right? So here you can see this. We generate this that's kind of dedicated address on Taproot, which is only owned by this user. It will never be mixed or confused by other people. So this is like a centralized exchange experiences, right? Say you go on to Binance or OKX, right? You have an account registered and you just click one button and there's a dedicated deposit address that only for you. So we kind of make the same experience on chain as well. So this is a dedicated address that fully supported by Taproot. Then let's take a look on this. Okay, so now what happens? Okay, so now the system, the Zeus node, detect one of the Bitcoin transaction here, and then you'll see there are multiple steps after that, right? The story hasn't ended yet. So there are 3 things we need to do. First, verify, like I said. We are the first Web3 company that put the whole SPP proof on chain, the first one. The second one is we need to tell the program to update the state. Why? Because if you are ever a Bitcoin wallet developer, right? So one of the hardest things, I think, would be UTXO management, right? Because Bitcoin is not like Ethereum or Solana. It doesn't have an account. Every spendable transactions we call it UTXO. UTXO is really hard to manage, and it's a lot of overhead to your program, to your design, and really hard to index and blah blah blah. So basically, we use the on-chain state Solana, which is Solana, is a UTXO management backend. So think about it. We use the whole Solana as a database. Why? Two reasons. First is fast and second is cheap. Fast and cheap. You can only do this on Solana. So we basically use Solana as a state management for UTXOs. So the second state will be, okay, so let's see, there's someone deposited transactions, then the Zeus node uploaded it, and then verified. And then we upload the state, we change the TSO status. And finally we mint. Let's take a look at the mint transactions. It's pretty interesting. Right? So this is the mint transaction. So let's take a look at this. So for those who doesn't understand how Solana works, it's fine. But basically, there's only one key differences, which is the state of Solana programs are separated, right? So if you are EVM programmers, if you ever write about EVM contract, you probably will find, I just store all my data, all my state in a hash, in a map, right? And the map is essentially just a key value store in the program. Well, think about it, what will happen? Because, well, if you store all the thing under one address, one identifier, what will happen is your program is sequential, right? Because every state was, let's say you need to read a state A, write a state B, and then read and write a state C and D, they can only be line up because there's no way for them to parallelize their operations. But in Solana, things are a little bit different. We store the states differently. Instead of one giant warehouse like this, everybody just in and out, and we do the access control on the gate. In fact, on the other hand, we just have different rooms for storing different data, which is way more efficient and scalable. So that's how Solana do the thing. The magic happens here. This is essentially why it is so performant and so cheap. So basically here we do a bunch of things, and here you can see a log. Right? And we're going to walk through all the detailed logs, but you can see that we charge some fees, of course. And then here, new amount tagged and minted, this amount, which is exactly the amount that the user deposited, minus the service fee. Right? So if you take a look on the token program here, so here's the DBTC asset. So there are like two addresses. So one fee goes to we call it fee collectors. Well, basically, what we need to make a living, right? So we charge some fees from the user who deposited BTCs. So that's basically the whole story in a nutshell. So how are you going to use it? Well, if you haven't heard about Zeus or Apollo, I strongly suggest you go on and try it. So just type Apollo or apolloportal.io. You can just totally try it. In fact, I'm going to do the live demo now. I actually have some Bitcoin in my Uniswap wallet now. Right, I have this much, about $500-ish. So let me do a quick demo for you guys. Right, it's really quick. It only takes like 10 minutes. I hope I can get it confirmed before the talks end. Right, so connect wallet. So basically, the first we do is, okay, now you have to connect Solana or Bitcoin, right? Solana first, so we connect to Solana. So I connect to Phantom. Okay, now it asks me, if I ever used this app before. So I can either have a deposit addresses or I can just connect to my Bitcoin wallet. So let's do a Bitcoin wallet. So now you ask me, now you have a Solana address. Obviously, I as a user already have a registered account, sort of to speak. So I connect a Uniset. Right, so this is exactly my Uniset wallet. Let's take a look. So here I have this and Q8KP. Okay, right here. All right. So now you can see it immediately matched my balance in my memo wallet. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tokenize the BTC to Solana, right? So I just type, all right, I'm gonna lock about this much, okay? And then I just deposit. Confirmed. You'll have some like meta data here. It doesn't matter. We'll get back to this later. Confirm. Ask me to sign. Of course, I signed this. That was a Bitcoin transaction. So here we go. So now we have a successfully transaction. Let's take a view. You will direct me to the profile page, also on Solana. Also on Apollo. So you will see now there's an initiating status that tells me from this much to this much because we took 10K Satoshi, which is like about $10 of the open fee. And then if we click view, you will see another model pop up that tells you all the information you need to know. So let's just stop here a little bit, right? Because we just need to give you some time to like process on Bitcoin. We all know that who is the dragon. Bitcoin takes 10 minutes to finalize a block. So let's give it time. But I want to show this, it's pretty cool. So if I go on the ZeusStack, right, earlier, if I wait longer, like a few minutes, you'll see an interaction appears here. So we'll get back to this page later, all right? So let's just get back to the ZBTC page, finish my story, okay? So we've covered how BTC to ZBTC to Solana works. And then you might think, oh, so what? Like, what are the opportunities, right? So if we go back to Apollo, we actually done this for the users. The only thing you guys care is that can I make more money? Can I make more money? So if you click earn, here is your money. Sorry, it took a little bit more time. Let's wait for a couple more seconds. We should improve this earlier, sorry guys. It's a really awkward 10 seconds. Okay, now here we go. Wow, it's almost too good to be true, right? 93% APR. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? You don't have to trust this, right? You trust the program, the real the pool. This is by the way, this is the either money market, borrow lending, or just another like swap or so does everyone know that the top 3 DEX on Solana right now? That will be okay. Jupiter doesn't count. Jupiter is a router. Jupiter actually connects to other pools. So number 1 would be Radium, Orca, or Meteora. So basically, all the pools are these DEX, outside DEXs that has ZBTC as liquidity. So you can just earn money by, becoming the ZBTC provider in this case. So let's take a look. All right, let's take the highest one, star earning. So it basically just leads me to Meteora. So as a user, as a ZBTC holder, you don't need to like find a yield opportunity. Oh, we just done it for you. We just have everything sorted out for you. This is a whole ecosystem you can find on ZBTC, right? So this is basically the liquidity now. It's not a big pool, which means there's a lot of opportunities for early birds, right? Imagine that this number, if I twice the size of the liquidity pool, the yield will be half, right? So if I'm smart enough, you should mean ZBTC by now. So these are like, because I don't have any position now, so position of course is 0. But you can see, if you take a look here, you'll see, wow, the trading volume is almost twice as the liquidity itself, right? The liquidity is only something like 250K, but it has 400 something K under traffic. That's how you earn your yield, because there are a lot of opportunities on chain, trading on chain Bitcoins. What we're talking about is a trader, someone arbitrage, on chain arbitrage. There's a lot of use cases. So one of these cases will be the arbitrage bots. Well, I'm not joking. Like, if you really take out ZBTC transactions, you'll see a lot of small amount transactions. We're talking about like $10 or less than $10, $5. It's really small transactions. They all try to arbitrage BTCs. There's a lot of opportunities, right? If you are a researcher, scientist, whatever, just go on and have a chance to have a play. All right, so here are like multiple other pools. Let's take a look on one of the lending pools as well, like Camino. Okay, let's take a look at Camino. Camino is by far the most, I would say, a big part of the biggest borrow lending on Solana. So if I go on Camino, okay, now where it leads me is like I can basically borrow ZBTC, and sorry, this is us, right? So we actually have some incentive programs for users that actually borrow ZBTC. Because we want to have as much users as possible. And we just ended one of the biggest campaign ever. Like we airdrop BTCs. We airdrop ZBTC to users. So just go on and check our Twitter account, Zeus Network HQ. We got a whole bunch of different campaigns coming up. So stay tuned. So this is really great, right? Like if you're a ZBTC, this is probably the first step you should consider. All right, let's go back to Apollo, see if we had all the transactions sorted. Transactions. Okay, still initiating, but that's fine. Let's take a look at the scan. Probably still initiating. It's okay. We can circle back later. So as a user, you're not just holding ZBTC. You're not just here to worship how the tech is hard or something. Well, you actually can be part of it. Take the chance. Take the opportunity yourself. And then these two. So what's next, right? What as a developer, if I want to build something on top of ZBTC, what can I do? So here's what can you do. Here's what you can do. So basically, with all that, like the background story of the ZBTC and Zeus, all that leads to ZeusStack, that was this topic today, right? Because we've talked about this tokenized BTC ideas with a lot of teams, but usually the hardest part is never to understand how awesome the idea is, but the hardness and the obstacles to actually implement this whole infrastructure. We're talking about MPC, we're talking about whole on-chain programs. You need to sort it out, all that. It took us 6 months to sort this out. It's really hard, right? It's really hard. So we kind of like wrap this up into a package that developers can just use. So if you take a look, this goes with Stack. So we want developers to plug native BTC into Solana, DeFi, and beyond, right? So, well, if you are trying to build something awesome on BTCs, you probably don't need to think about how to do your key management. You don't need to think about to write a whole new stack of program on whatever platform you want to use. So we just all sort it out for you. So basically, we try to ease the hardest obstacles of developers. And then the reason why we say it's native is because we are the first protocol that basically put a whole HTTP proof on chain. So that's what we mean by native, the native verified. So let's take a look on the real demo use cases. So if I click around here, oh, by the way, you can just you can navigate to this page by going to our website zeusnetwork.xyz, and then we have ZeusStack path over here. So click around. Right. So here is how it feels like to actually use it. So it is a widget, right? The widget is something that you can just plug in on your front-end applications. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to use, and we got it open sourced. Let's take a look. Oh, over here. Sorry. So we got it open sourced right here, widget. Right. Yeah, so you can just start to use it and try it and give us a feedback. I think it's pretty awesome. Like I think with this kind of tool, as a developer, you don't need to think about. We have to unlock a lot of opportunities of on-chain Bitcoins, tokenized Bitcoins. So let's go back to the demo page. So basically, you can use it as a widget, like something that you can hide in the right top corner. Like so to build a Bitcoin applications, you don't have to like redo the whole thing again and again. Instead, you can just focus on the real value, the true use case of your applications, and leave the rest to us, right? Which is to bring Bitcoin to your application part. The bridging part, the layer part, is all done. It's all gone. We got your back, right? So if you click this, you can see it's pretty cool. Like the widget is just hide on the right bottom of the corner. And to use it, you need to collect wallet. The rest of the thing are the same. Just the really smooth, seamless experiences of using Bitcoin applications. So if you don't want to use a widget, you can also like do in an integrated mode, which is, well, you basically just have a model in the middle of the page. That also works. So you just connect wallet, connect again. Okay, connect. So here we go. Yeah, we just disconnected. Right. Because I don't have any Bitcoins now, so I cannot do anything. So we take activities. You can see. Oh, these are the history of just the history of the transaction I've ever done. Which is a lot. Yeah, because I've done a lot of tests on the ZeusStack. All right. Let's get back to this board. Oops, still initiating. Sorry. Bitcoin today take a little bit longer. Let's take a look on the scan. Okay, still not there. It's fine. Let's take a look on the transaction itself. If I just copy my address and go on the mempool, I should see something. Right, it's here. So it's not fair. That's fair, right? Like we only took the confirmation. There's only 1 or 2 confirmations. Obviously, you can see the number here. It says take 11 minutes already. I guess I'm a bit off. Because if I go 1 minute before the block mining, then we'll be good. We'll be fine, right? It took 11 minutes, which is kind of average. The longest block recently is like 20 minutes. So yeah. So if you take a look on this, you can see there are a whole bunch of history transactions of this wallet right here. So if everything goes well, happy case, I should have this transaction confirmed in 1 or 2 blocks. Which took about 10 to 20 minutes. And then if I go back to Apollo, you'll see something appears right here. So this is the history. So these are the history transactions I ever interacted with this wallet. Let's take up one of them. If I click view, okay, so this is a finalized image that you can get. So if I click this, it will direct you to, if you're someone that really cares the transparency, decentralized, I really strongly recommended you to go on, use Apollo, try to scan, and then you can really see everything that's happening like in real time. It's really cool. It's really cool. So yeah, this is Apollo, and this is ZBTC, and this is ZeusStack. So before I rip out everything, I got only 2 minutes now. Just want to give you guys a really quick landscape overview. Who here knows other wrap BTCs on Solana, other than ZBTC or WBTC? Anyone knows? Okay, 帅哥讲一下。Yeah. What? XBTC, correct. So we got XBTC and the other one. There's another one biggest. WBTC and one more. Which one? Coinbase BTC. So yeah, we got a bunch of players right now. We are not the only tokenized BTC, but we are the only one permissionless BTC so far. So we are competing with Rapid. I won't say competing. We're trying to share the pie together, right? We're going to put the pie together so that the people can actually realize that on-chain, decentralized exchanges, Bitcoin on-chain is really a thing that people have to look at it. So here I just let's quick look on CBBTC as well. So CBBTC now has something like 300 something Bitcoin minted on Solana, right? It's about a 10x. Sorry, it's really hard to say this, but they are 10x bigger than ZBTC now. But things will change, right? So they're like 300 something. And here's XBTC. So XBTC only has 600 something, which is about the 1.5 size of the ZBTC. But here's a funny fact. Here's my fact. So not just the total minting number that we should take a look, but also the holders. So even if the XBTC, it has only like 1.2k users. But ZBTC, we have 8k users. I guess this figure probably tells something, right? We're not probably the most highly TBO tokenized BTC on Solana, but we are the most trusted permissionless BTC on Solana now. So here's my talk. Thank you very much.